Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Command Point Podcast, episode number 43. My name's Ryan. Today I'm here with Shane. Shane, how are you doing?
I am doing pretty well. How about you?
I am doing okay.
Just okay.
Yeah, just okay. I just watched the Bucks lose in Game 6 to the Boston Celtics, so hopefully they'll be able to get it done this Sunday. Bit let down by that, but there is a lot of fun stuff to be looking forward to when it comes to Kill Team and other other Games Workshop games.
Yeah, I mean, just other games in general. But we did have
Yes.
a big old. We had that big stream the other day, and I mean, I guess before we start getting into topics, what's new in the hobby front? What have you been hobbying?
Well,
What are you working on?
what's on my workbench right now is another Redemptor Dreadnought for my Ultramarines for 40K.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Some of our listeners may not know because we've primarily been a Kill Team focused podcast and YouTube channel, but Redemptor Dreadnoughts in Warhammer 40,000, they are really really good for Space Marines. It is dumb
Yeah.
how good they are. They're they're the backs of these dreadnoughts must be absolutely sore by the amount of carrying they have done for this faction. It's ridiculous.
So I've never really had to put together a like a big miniature,
Mhm.
really.
Mhm.
How difficult are those to to do? Like a big dreadnought or like a vehicle or something? Are those
Mm.
typically easier? Like,
No. No, I would say that they're much harder than
that's
putting
too bad.
together just like a marine or something. The with the Redemptor Dreadnought, there's a lot of like flat armor panels that you need to be careful when you're cutting them off the sprue because it's very easy to take like little tiny chunks out of it around the edges where the sprue is attached to just like this flat panel essentially. So kind of something to look out for. You got to be careful with that.
Yeah.
And
So
then I haven't
oh,
touched it in forever, but I also have a Primaris Executioner like battle tank for the Ultramarines as well. And I haven't touched that because when I was assembling it, um, I just did it wrong, and there's like a huge gap going down the entire side of it that I've been meaning to just like fill with green stuff or milliput or something, and I just
mhm.
haven't touched it in probably like 2 years. So,
Ah,
but I mean, oh, the tank isn't good right now in the game anyway, so I'm just like not gonna touch it until it's good.
fair. Perfectly fair. For me, I've been torn between a couple things right now, a couple little projects. So for kill team wise, I actually just before I got on this call, I've been building up and assembling the Corsair Void Scarred team.
Nice.
That I've had the sprues like since the box came out, and I was looking at them the other day, and I was like, okay, I should really do this at some point. And I've been working on them. I was just working on the duelist, who's for some reason his legs were just bothering me. I don't like the way that guy stands. He's got a very wide stance. And but other than that, I mean, the models are pretty straightforward. The fell arc is kind of a mess of pieces, but outside of that, all the normal specialists seem pretty easy so far.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing super noteworthy about that. Um, and then on the other side, I've been working on that on the clone trooper half of that Star Wars Legion box, or not the clone trooper. You're doing the clones. I'm
That's
doing the
right.
Empire. I'm doing the Empire
Yeah.
in the box.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about it with you guys at all recently, but Shane and I have recently gotten into Star Wars Legion. So I picked up the Republic and Separatist box. He managed to procure a Imperial and Rebel box, and I've
Yeah,
been able to play it a few times now, and I love the way it plays.
I haven't even played a game yet. Um, I've like read over the rules a couple times, but it's not for me. It's like until I play something, it's not really like
Yeah.
set in my brain. So I need to get those guys built up and actually like get a game in.
hmm I
And until
actually
that point, yeah.
I actually went and got a few more boxes outside of just the starter set for the clones, because I'm just going all in on the Galactic Republic. I got Clone Trooper, or not Clone Trooper, geez, Clone Captain Rex, because
Okay.
he's really really good at just like tossing out, like, not really like aura buffs, but just like tossing out abilities to other clone troopers. Um,
Mhm.
and then I picked up two Phase 2 Clone Trooper boxes that kind of help fill out, like, eventually getting up to an 800 point, like, list. So I'm just all in on the clones, and I feel kind of bad because I'm like, oh, cool, I'm playing another faction in another IP that is just dudes in armor.
Yeah, you really should have gone for the droids, man. I'm telling you.
I'm I might at some point.
I
I
just
just
love the
I
droids.
just
I love them.
can't relate to them. I think that's the issue. I have an easier time relating to I don't know, like a human face to a human
You've
rather
watched
than
that Clone Wars thing, man.
oh yeah,
Those droids,
I
they
what
have plenty of character.
they definitely do. They got a lot of personality. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, this is not a Legion podcast, so sorry guys.
No,
We'll
not
move on.
yet. Not yet.
Um, but yeah, Legion seems cool. I'm excited to actually play some games of that.
Mhm.
Uh,
How much
once I get to the point.
your of the Imperials have you gotten built?
Not a lot. I mean, I've probably got like 8 to 10 models built, and I still
Okay.
haven't done the speeders.
Yeah.
I've got Vader built, of course. That was where I started.
Mhm.
But I still have to. I have like the two speeders. I think there's two of them, and
Mhm.
uh, like a handful more of probably like 4 to 6 more troopers, and then I'll be set at least from what you get in the box. And I haven't really looked at other boxes, so
Yeah. It's
yeah,
got
I don't even know
there's a
what would go from
lot there's a lot of models in that
there.
game. I'm really impressed with what they've been able to fill out, and like, feels like 2 years ago the game launched or something, and there's just so many options now.
Yeah, the game. I feel like it's been out for longer than that. I don't
It
know.
it probably has.
It's a pretty popular game in our area.
Mhm.
Beyond that, I mean, so what are we talking about today, Ryan?
I don't know. No, I'm kidding. So I guess we can start with you recently TO'd a kill team tournament.
Yeah, we had our first one of our first tournaments here in Rochester. First one that I've TO'd,
Mhm.
and it was we had 10 players, I believe, which I was happy with. We had more terrain than we needed, and we had a bunch of Octarius.
Yeah.
So we had, I think, 6 or 7 sets of Octarius ready for us, and then we had a couple extra Chailnath sets that we didn't use because we were using the London Wargamers uh, Octarius terrain layouts. So we were able to, because we had so much Octarius, we were able to make it so that the each table had the same exact terrain layout for every match, which was one of my goals for the tournament. I really wanted to have that consistency on every table so that somebody wasn't winding up on a weird board different from everyone else
Mhm.
and getting like screwed over or something. And that's like one of the harder things to do as a TO, I think, is getting that. So I was very fortunate and lucky that there was plenty of people in our community, even people that weren't able to make it to the tournament, that were willing to pitch in their terrain for the day. So shout out to those people.
Mhm.
And it was a fun event. I mean, Ryan, you played in it,
Yes,
so
I played in it. Did I do
yeah.
well?
Eh,
No. Um No, but a bunch of our friends, Janice came up
yeah.
from down south all the way up to little Rochester just to play. Um, Sean was there, Cole was there, and then there were a bunch of other local kill team players there as well. So it was a fun time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
And
Cole came
there's a
in
lot of,
second, which is
oh
wild.
yeah,
Yeah,
I was so happy about that.
Janice came in first with the
Yeah.
Wormblade. Um, But yeah, Cole came in second with the Legionnaires, which I was surprised by. I know Cole's a good player, but you know we were kind of down on the Legionnaires, right?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, it was. I mean, about half. I think we had four Legionnaire players and then one Death Guard. So it's like half of the players at the tournament were just running like elite, like chunky elite teams.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it was cool seeing the Legionnaires because it wasn't just Legionnaires. It was like every one of the four Legionnaire players was playing it differently.
Yeah.
So you had Cole, who plays second, who was pretty much running almost exclusively Slanesh. I think he did have some Zinch or Nurgle. Like he in most of the games, I think in 2 out of the 3 games he ran 6 Slanesh, which was just crazy. And then we had another guy, I think Dave, was running a mix of Corn and Nurgle. And then there was another guy who was doing a mix of Slanesh and Zinch. And then there was another guy who every game he ran a Corn Butcher and 5 Undivided. And it was just like everyone was doing something different.
Yeah.
And
That's cool.
and Cole with his Slanesh tech that I did not think of. He was doing some cool stuff with that we can talk
Yeah.
about a little bit.
Yeah. Do you want to dive right into that right now? Because I think it was really interesting, and nobody was really like talking about like the sort of things that he was doing with that faction.
Yeah, because everybody was kind of down on Slanesh, and I'm not here to say that like Slanesh is like the secret way or that like I don't have any conclusive opinion on
Yeah.
Legionnaire. I know it's very
I mean,
hotly debated.
I'll come out and like I mean, you've heard it on our content, you know, we've been down on Slanesh. So,
Yeah, I mean, as far as like the marks go, because that's what everybody argues about.
mhm.
And everybody was, I think Slanesh was the one that people were most down on. And Cole showed up playing Slanesh, and he kept talking about how much he loved the extra movement. And I was like, okay, yeah, but Corn seems pretty good. But what he was doing, I saw it in his first game, and he did it in his second game too, was he took the Slanesh models and he ran the Shrive Talon, which is the guy that if you fight him, he fights first. And when he kills something, he can like give an enemy model nearby -1 APL. And what he would do is like on Loot and Salvage, he was playing against Novitiates, and he charged a Novitiate model. He used the 1 CP Slanesh tactical ploy to give that model -1 APL so that they couldn't fall back from him. And then he wouldn't fight them. He would just stand there on the objective with 3 APL to their 1 and loot the point. And they couldn't fall back because they only have 1 APL. And they couldn't fight him because he gets to attack first, so it would be like suicide. And if something else came over to try and stop and like help out, he would kill that first thing and then give that thing a -1 APL for free. And it was just like it was so funny to watch. And then he did it again in the second game, and he didn't get to do it in the third game, but I remember seeing that and I was like, holy crap. I was like, I've never thought about that interaction
Yeah.
and how much of a pain in the butt that is for like a 2 APL team.
I ran Veteran Guard. I think including the 3 games that I played at that tournament, I've played 5 games with Veteran Guard now. And they're good. I'm just bad at kill team. Um my first game was I forget my opponent's name, but he was playing Commandos, super cool guy. I think we got to like the top of turn 3 and we went to time though, unfortunately. I was able to pick that one up. I pretty much just took the same tac ops. Well, it didn't really work out that way because it was random draw. Almost the same tac ops every game. I subbed in just like I forget the name of it. It's like hold ground or something, and then whichever one is you get points at the end of the game if more of your models died, but you were ahead on primary points or
Oh yeah.
something. Um,
Glory and Death, is it?
yeah, that sounds like it.
Maybe? I
Yeah,
don't know.
and then and then whichever the other one was, it was the not bad veteran guardsman tac up. I
Yeah.
was shooting for those every game, trying to make sure that I would get those. Um, and it worked out pretty well with the commandos. It worked out fine. His he almost got me with the bomb squig. He almost took out 3 models,
Oh,
like 3 or 4 models with his bomb squig. He killed 2 of them, but then my confidant I think just like took it on the chin. Um, and then
Oh,
and then my demo specialist was like just outside of the blast radius of the demo squig. So the demo squig blew up, and then actually that wound up the bomb squig was like on top of an objective when it happened, and I had taken the security tack up where it's like I score a point for if like two models die within circle of two separate objectives or whatever, protect assets.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so when the bomb squig went off and did that, that actually scored me that secondary, and that felt
Oh,
that felt really grimy informing him of that, like when we were doing scoring and everything. Um, yeah, just super weird. Don't ever take the bomb squig, I think, is the moral of the story
man.
here. It's
You know
just
the
it's not
for
good.
for such a like a model that literally has to die for you to use it, you think it would at least be like AP2, you know,
Yeah,
or have like 5 attacks instead of 4.
yeah.
I feel like it's just so restrictive.
Needlessly restrictive, especially when you look at the opposite side of the Actarius box, where that team can just get everything and they can run almost everything they want without
Yeah, I mean,
nearly
if
any
you compare,
limitations.
yeah, if the comparison of the bomb squig for Vetguard is the demo, I mean, it blows it out of the water. It's not even close.
Literally, literally.
Yeah.
My second game, I played against Janice, running the Wormblade. Janice uh, is definitely miles ahead of me in terms of
Pretty good.
skill. Yeah, she's pretty good. She's pretty good. But yeah, the she was running the sniper and of course the Keller morph. And between those two models, I felt like on that terrain, I just couldn't do anything. To,
Mhm.
I just felt like I couldn't counter her and her models. Oh, and also like I took the four trooper veterans, the ancillary support every single time, as you should. I
Yeah.
gave three of the four crack grenades literally every game. In that particular game, I think only all three of them managed to throw their crack grenades, I believe, but only one of them actually killed a Wormblade model. And I'm not talking about like the fancy specialist. I'm talking about just like Joe Schmo with an auto gun. Only one
Yeah.
of them managed to kill. So that felt bad and definitely put me behind. And then it got to a point where I made probably some pretty poor charges trying to get a big point swing on primary, and it just didn't happen. My last game I played against Sean, and this was a bit of a grudge match because we had hung out at his house to get in a couple of kill team games, leading up to this tournament. And I was practicing with the vet guard, and he was running Tyranids. In this game, instead of doing what he did the last time we had played of like running three warriors and then filling out the rest with gene stealers, he ran all gene stealers this game.
Mhm.
So being able to move up all the models that he wanted essentially in conceal and just kind of like swarm me by turns 2 and 3 was a huge advantage for him. But I think turn 2 he had made some mistakes with his positioning, I think, but I just was not able to capitalize on them that turn. Turns 3 and 4, I honestly like I think we both felt that like I had the game in the bag bottom of turn 2 just because of the board state. But then turns 3 and 4, like I didn't hit, I didn't kill anything, Shane. I had
Yeah.
I
I
had
saw his interloper got away,
yeah,
and
his
he did not
interloper got
expect that.
away. Oh, and that interloper who was he was on like 3 or 1 wounds remaining for turns 3 and 4, I think. And I had shot the spotter with like the mortar barrage into that model uh twice on both of those turns 3 and 4, and it just didn't kill him. And I'm just like, are you freaking kidding me, man?
Yeah.
And then I had taken like plant banner or something because I tried to be cheeky with it and sneak my confidant kind of around towards like the top of the board from my perspective, and he just like incidentally just like had an opportunity to kill him and like literally one tapped him in melee like got a
Ugh.
crit through, and that just immediately killed him. And I'm just like,
Yeah,
jeez.
because he before that game, I think it was like earlier in the tournament, he like was talking to me on the side, telling me that he had this cool plan if he had to play against you because you were the only vet guard there,
Hmm.
where he was like, I'm gonna take sighting talons on my gene stealers,
Yeah,
and I'm gonna pop feed so that way I can, as long as I'm critting, I can one shot them.
yeah.
That's exactly what he was doing in that game.
And that's exactly what happened turns 2 and 3. And I was
Yeah.
just rolling like absolute garbage. So that's the way it went. It was a fun tournament.
The next tournament is in the works within a few months, I'd say.
Hmm.
So really looking forward to that. And who knows what is even in this game in 3 months from now. We'll have the new box. I mean, we'll have
That's right.
probably another White Dwarf team or two. So looking forward to that. Yeah, though. I mean, in general, the tournament was a total success. I'm really happy with how it went. It was. It seemed like everybody had a pretty good time. Janice came all the way up and just tore us apart. Our poor little Rochester scene. I think I was comparing it to like the in like Dragon Ball Z when the Saiyans show up on Earth and they just crush everyone.
Oh
That's what it
yeah.
felt like.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a fair comparison.
Yeah. Um, and obviously I was TOing, so I didn't get the chance to play against her. And there's another guy in our scene named, his name is Douglas, a really good vet guard player. He won the last
Yeah.
tournament in Rochester, and he was also not available for the tournament. So I mean, I think we could have, at least one of us maybe would have given Janice a run for her money, hopefully.
Hmm.
But she's an excellent player
Yeah.
and very good performance. But I wanted to talk a little bit about outside of our local stuff. There was a few big tournaments this past weekend that I think we should talk about because competitive kill team is kind of like our thing, as it turns out. And there was two. There was one like major size tournament over in Spain that I want to touch on, and there was the Seattle Open
Oh yeah.
that happened. I mean, in Seattle, obviously, but it was the first of the GW tournaments that are going around right now. And then there was another decent sized RTT over in Brooklyn. And also, we'll start with the Brooklyn one. I've got it pulled up right now. First place finish for the veteran guard, Rami Sherman, took first. I think he made top 16 at KTI. That name sounds familiar to me. And then a second place from Wormblade, George Shapter. This is those Brooklyn Rats people
Yep.
that we interviewed. Not the same people we interviewed, but that Brooklyn Rats
Yeah, that
group.
same scene.
And then we had a third place from Void Dancers. Void Dancers, who are, if you haven't heard, I mean, the most overpowered team, as everybody knows,
Oh
of
yeah, for
course.
sure. I mean, that's why they're coming in third. Right behind. Oh, what's that? Beckguard and
Wormblade.
Wormblade. Yeah. Huh. That's weird. That
But yeah,
almost lines up exactly with our tier list. Anyway.
let's talk a little bit about the U.S. Open, the Seattle Open, because this was a 5-round tournament, I believe, which is, I mean, there was 19 players, but it was like there was like a day one and a day two, Saturday and Sunday. I wish that we had one of these on the East Coast because we have the Chicago one, but I mean, that's kind of far from us.
It's
Chicago's not.
literally the Midwest.
Yeah, that's not East Coast at all. But it's easily the closest to East Coast. Everything else is pretty much like either in the middle of the country or West Coast. But yeah, we had a podium of Legionary in third, Walter Gary Gar. Second place was Novitiates, Tyler Johnson, and then in first place we had Chris Baki playing Novitiates, not Beckard, what he's known for,
Ooh.
but Novitiates. This was really the weekend of Novitiates, as we'll get to, and I think we could probably have a conversation about that team. Congrats to Chris. Chris is a really good player.
Mm-hmm.
I got to play him at KTO, and I've also played with him in the TTS realm a few times. He is very good, but I've never played him. I've never seen him play anything other than Vanguard. But he's doing quite well with the Novitiates, apparently. And then, of course, we have this major in Madrid. They had 50 players this past weekend.
Bruh.
Crazy,
That's
just
so
crazy.
many.
And they had a podium third place. They had Veteran Guard, played by Guillermo Diaz. And this was a 5-round tournament as well. Second place, they had Ruben Lazarest playing. It says Craft World, but I'm positive that this was actually Void Scarred. And he went. He actually didn't lose. He went 4 wins and a tie,
Oh.
which has got to be like the best Void Scarred performance we've seen so far,
Yeah.
unless I'm forgetting an event. Really impressive. Honestly, did not. I still don't think Void Scarred are very great,
No.
but very very impressive performance from Lazarus there. And then in first place we have shocker. Spoiler alert! It was Ace. And again though, not playing Vet Guard, playing
Novitiates?
Novitiates. He
Interesting.
yeah, he went 5-0. Very similar to what happened over here with Chris. A very good Vet Guard player picks up Novitiates and just kind of wins. And you know what? I actually am forgetting one other tournament. There was a 16-player tournament over in London that was actually won by Void Scarred. So I suppose that would be the best. I mean, he went 3 wins and a tie for first place.
Gotcha.
And the other podium was Pathfinders in second place, Mark Amos. We interviewed him.
Yeah.
Command Point UK representing.
Mm-hmm.
And then Guy Barton. And it says Craft World. I'm going to assume it's Void Scarred. I don't know that for an absolute fact, but I'm assuming that it is Craft World. But I'm assuming that it's Void Scarred. Aside from that, I mean, I guess we can talk a little bit about Novitiates because they are, one of the 3 teams in our, little trifecta S++ tier on the tier list. And they're doing pretty good. They're doing very good. And I mean, it's not like it's a total shock because I think everybody kind of knows that they're this good. But now it's like really, I mean, they're winning majors in like 2 different continents on the same day. So it's like,
Yeah.
what? I mean,
I mean, their faith abilities are absolutely crazy.
they're probably one of the teams that the developers are looking at as far as the balance data slate goes. Vecguard being like the obvious one, and maybe the Void Dancer nerfs or Void Dancer cries are going to result in a nerf somewhere. But Novitiates, I would imagine, is probably under the scope right now, if I had to guess. And for me, if it was up to me and I had to make that decision, I think the first thing I would look at is the Blinding Aura faith ability. That basically, if you're concealed and somebody tries to shoot you and they're not within 2 inches of you, you just spend 2 faith points and they can't shoot you. Basically, is how that works.
Mm-hmm.
That seems way too good to me, especially with how easy it is to get faith points.
Yeah, that's true. But isn't there a way that you can kind of get around that by kind of like baiting that out from the Novitiates player? Like if
You
I,
can,
yeah, so like there is like you can interact with that. It's not just a straight up nope, you can't shoot this model for the rest of this turn.
well, it's for that activation. So the only way
Yes.
to really get around it, I think, is to put yourself in a position where you can shoot multiple models, and then
Mm-hmm.
you declare one, and then they blinding aura, and then your points get refunded, and then you just shoot the other one.
Gotcha.
Still, though, I think it should probably be 3 faith points. It
Yeah.
is a bit obnoxious to
I
play against
I think that is fair.
because I mean the alternative to that would be like they need to revamp the whole faith point system, and I don't think they're going to do that.
No.
But as it is right now, with how easy it is to get faith points, that one stands out to me the most, the blinding aura. And then the other thing I think you could probably touch on is the 1 equipment point auto chastizer that is it's 1 equipment point, which is so cheap, and it's just you basically get ceaseless on that model. But you if you reroll into a 1, which rarely happens, then you take a mortal wound. like one mortal, which is basically nothing.
Yeah.
Um, it's weird to me because I was saying in a separate conversation earlier that this is the team that has the most access to rerolls in the whole game, and they have a one equipment point thing that lets them reroll ones.
Yeah, you can kind of see why top level players are kind of gravitating towards this faction.
Yeah, I just don't know why they have that specifically. In
Because of the
you know,
flavor, Shane. It's the flavor.
yeah, it's just so odd because these are like they're novitiates. They're not even full battle sisters. They're just like,
Wow, shots fired.
why are they so good? Like at least the vet guard, they're called veterans. You'd expect such
Yeah,
performances, but the novitiates, it's like the rookies. Yeah, I mean, I guess with the the two things basically is what I'm getting to is the blinding aura should probably be 3 faith points, and I think that the chastizer should probably be 2 equipment points.
yeah.
And outside of that, I mean, it's just, I mean, they have crack grenades. Uh, every team that can take crack grenades usually takes crack grenades. I think more than any faction nerf, I just want to see crack grenades get nerfed.
I think that's fair, yeah.
I
Because there's
They're
so
so
many,
good.
yeah, there's so many instances where it's like, if crack grenades like weren't in the equipment list, or weren't, I guess, like, I mean, it's still like 3 equipment points for most teams for crack grenades.
Yeah, for all
But
teams, I
like,
think.
if they weren't so good, like take like something away from them. That way you can see all like the faction specific equipment kind of have an opportunity to shine, or have players like take a second glance at their equipment list. Because right now I can't list anything off of the Vet Guard equipment list.
Yeah, I mean, crack grenades. I mean, AP1 damage 4/5, hitting on threes with indirect is just like outrageous. That's so good.
Yeah.
That's so good. Why is it so good? And then I mean, you give it to certain factions like Vetguard, where they normally their guns hit on fours, but these crack grenades hit on threes, and they're stronger, and they have indirect.
I
Uh,
think throughout the tournament there was probably like 2 times where I actually fired a las gun, which is freaking insane.
I mean, that profile with take aim. I mean, that's going to be performing about as good as like your plasma if you're able to shoot it.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty insane. It's a very very good weapon. Probably too good. It's probably something that should be just like flat nerfed in some way. Probably just shouldn't be so much damage. I don't know. I don't know what you do to it, but like
For me, it's the 3-up ballistic skill,
that too.
because it's
That's
like,
also,
why are these veteran guardsmen better at throwing a grenade than they are shooting their own las rifle or their own las gun? That doesn't
I
make
think
any
what makes
sense to
that
me.
weird. What makes that weird is that like if you just make it for at ballistic skill, then it's like you have to specify that for vet guard because then it's like otherwise, Marines are hitting on fours with it.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah,
It would be a
what I'm
pain in the
saying is it would
butt
have
for
to
them.
be faction by faction. Like
They don't
Marines,
never do
yeah, of
that.
course they're gonna be hitting on threes because they're Marines. They hit on threes with everything.
Yeah, I just don't think they'll ever do that. I think they would rather just do the easy thing rather than go and sort through each team.
Ah, okay.
So
I don't know, maybe.
I bet they just like make it more expensive or like change the damage or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Or limit the amount that you can take to like 2 or something.
Maybe I don't know. I
I don't
mean,
know.
I think
We've
actually
given you a
most
lot of
players,
options here, Games Workshop.
actually I think most Vatcar players only take two because they'll take the Rosarius.
Oh yeah.
Um, so I don't even think that would change much. And I mean, Novitiates only take two because the stupid chastisers are so good that you actually you're willing to drop a grenade. Yeah, though. Novitiates very good. Crack grenades very good. Um, Void Scarred. I mean,
Eh,
I kind of agree with that noise you just made.
yeah.
Uh,
They're fast.
they are fast. I mean, I'm there. I can say that for sure. They are a really fun team to play, and clearly some people are having success with them. I mean, second place in a major
Yeah.
is is very impressive.
Mhm.
I just feel like that probably had more to do with the player than the faction itself.
Yeah.
I just see them as having a lot of gaps, I think.
Yeah.
Like
A lot of
noticeable things,
yeah.
like only 9 models, only one gunner. They just they're missing something for me, and I don't really know what it is.
It's the ability to run the heavy gunner in the team with the regular gunner. That's what it is.
Yeah, I kind of wish it was that plus like 10 operatives instead of 9. I don't know why they have only 9. I think honestly, if I had to guess, my theory is that I think the Void Guard do pretty okay until Legionnaire.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when they had 10 operatives, they were probably doing a little too okay against Legionnaire. And so they dropped them to 9.
Yeah, that makes sense.
My takeaway is I wish that Pathfinders were released with Legionnaires. Maybe they wouldn't be so good.
Yeah, maybe. Is there anything else regarding Kill Team that we really wanted to cover?
No, I don't really think so, honestly. I think
Okay.
we hit all the marks.
Cool. Well, there is one thing that I want to do, Shane, before we get out of here.
Sure.
So I am hyped for the new Horus Heresy uh, line that's basically getting like a reboot, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically because the starter set, which comes with 2 Legion Praetors, a Contemptor Dreadnought, a Spartan Assault Tank, 10 Terminators, and 40 Tactical Marines, plus the rules, plus all the accoutrement that you need to play Horus Heresy. It has been confirmed in a recent Warhammer community article that that box is going to be releasing for less than $300 US. I have absolutely no idea how they're able to do that in this economy. Um, Frankly, so I am most definitely picking it up just because it is such a fantastic deal, and of course all the models are totally beautiful. But I do have an issue, Shane, and the issue is that I don't know what Space Marine Legions I want to paint up this box set as. Because what I want to do
So
is I want to paint up half as a traitor legion, and I want to paint up the other half as a loyalist legion. And then maybe if I really like the game, I actually have more time to paint models, I can like build out the collection and have 2 full complete armies so that I can play, and then you come over, you can play whatever. Um, but yeah, I don't know what I want to paint them up as. I can tell
are you
you
taking suggestions?
yeah, so I'm basically asking you for suggestions. Yeah. So the thing is, all right, there's some rules. So I don't want to paint up either of these factions to have black armor. So like
Okay.
Raven Guard, Dark Angels at this time were wearing black armor. Um who else is in there? Oh, Iron Hands.
Yeah, Iron Hands.
Which is a shame because I really like the Iron Hands.
So why not? Why don't you want to do Black Armor?
Because, Shane, I'm painting up Black Templars for Warhammer 40K,
Oh, here we go.
and I don't want to paint any more black armor. I don't want to just spend like a year or like 3 years painting just black armor, doing the same.
Okay. Okay.
So I want to do a loyalist faction that isn't black in color, for the armor, and then for the right now for the trader side of things, I'm leaning towards just the Sons of Horus because that kind of like dark jade green color looks so good. It looks so
Okay.
good on the Beaky Marines. But yeah, so what do you think? What are your suggestions?
Well, I know. I mean, for you personally, I know
Oh,
you've
no
also got.
Ultramarines too. No
Yeah, I was gonna
Ultramarines
say you
either.
have a bunch of Ultramarines. So I mean, let's just rule out blue as well.
Yes.
I think. I mean, Sons of Horus is like I mean, that's a really good choice for sure. I mean, that's like the most Horus Heresy thing you can have.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, my personal bias, I love Emperor's Children.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be my pick. as far as traitor legions go. Outside of that, for the loyalists, though, I mean, Blood Angels are pretty sick. Those are pretty cool.
They are.
Um, I agree with you about Iron Hands, and I get why you wouldn't want to. Yeah, I mean, Horus Heresy. There's just like it's an odd like landscape of factions because they are so like physically similar to one
Yeah,
another.
literally 95% of the factions in the game are Space Marines after all, so they can't really all be that different, I don't think. I've never played it, and I haven't gotten a good look at the rules, but yeah, so
Oh, Imperial Fists, dude,
yeah, I
that's a good
know.
one for Horus Heresy.
Yeah, but painting yellow.
True.
I
I
mean,
mean, that is also a
it,
good answer.
yeah, I mean, I think I'm good at painting yellow now, though, actually, but maybe I will do that. I don't know. I think I was leaning towards like Blood Angels,
Mhm.
honestly, but I
Pick
don't
up a
know.
Sanguinius.
Yo, actually, I was looking at that model when that first came out. I thought the pose on it was kind of weird, but I guess he's supposed to be like leaping down at someone or something.
It does look a bit odd.
Yeah,
I see what you mean. Sanguinius is cool though.
he is. He's a pretty based Primarch.
Yeah, though. I mean, I guess my favorites is Emperor's Children. I think they're very cool. I like the purple.
Yeah. The
Um,
one thing that
full,
was holding me back from that is that Cole, who I play 40k with all the time. He runs Emperor's Children,
ah,
so it's like there's already enough purple in my life. I think I will wind up doing the traitor half as Sons of Horus, because that's not even like a thing in Warhammer 40,000.
yeah.
Like they're just not a thing anymore.
It's the lore. I'm almost finished
I'm
with
all
book
about
two.
the lore. Yeah,
Book two of the Horus Heresy, False
yeah.
Gods.
I got it queued up
And,
on Audible.
oh, have you finished Rising?
I have not yet, but
Oh,
I'm reading through it now in anticipation for Horus Heresy.
yeah. I've been reading it for a while. I mean, this whole thing was like very convenient for me because now I have so much of a better scope
Nice.
of some of these legions. And Horus Rising is phenomenal. I really liked it, and I'm enjoying False Gods right now. What's cool about False Gods is that you really get more of an insight, not an insight, but I mean, you get introduced to a lot more Primarchs
Mhm.
in the second book. Like, I think you really only see Horus in the first book, and then in the second book, it's like Magnus is there, and like actually Sanguinius is in the first book briefly, but like book two, you've got like Fulgrim and the World Eaters guy whose name I forget, and Magnus, and there's all this stuff going on.
Yeah. Yeah, the boys are back in town.
Yeah, it's a cool series. Those books are good. I mean, I want to read the first three, and then like after that, I I don't really know how
Yeah.
much more I'm gonna because the first three are like
That's
the
like
main
the
thing.
reading order, right? It's like
Yeah.
the first three, or is it like the first four? Because I know book five is like literally titled Fulgrim, and it focuses on him, obviously.
hmm The
So,
first three are the main. It's like a trilogy thing, and then after that,
gotcha.
it kind of diverts into
Yeah,
all sorts of different angles and storylines, which
yeah.
is cool. But yeah.
And then they all kind of coalesce with the Siege of Terra series, I think, which I did listen to the first. I think it's like called like the Saturnine War or something, or the Solar War. I think that's the first book in the series. I listened to that. Wasn't really the biggest fan of it, but there's there's a lot of plot points that they're all trying to like kind of bring together, I guess. So
Mhm.
it's more like a housekeeping
Yeah.
or like a
Yeah.
housekeeping book. But I'm excited to listen to more of the Horus Heresy on uh on Audible. Amazon, please sponsor us. We'd be great. I want to do an Audible ad reading so bad. But yeah, so I think that pretty much wraps up this episode of the Command Point podcast, Shane. So thank you guys all for listening and tuning in, whether it be on, whatever podcasting app you're using or on YouTube. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you're listening to this on YouTube. Leave a rating and subscribe on those other podcasting apps. Feel free to go ahead and check out our Patreon, where for as little as $1 a month, you can get some more extra content as a show of appreciation. But yeah, thank you guys for listening, and we hope to see you in the next one.